but each new year rejoice to see thy children's praise to thee increase. We honor thee not for our gain, but to make known thy majesty, the truth and courage that remain, however harsh the fates may be, as through troublous years, dear William and Mary, our country fought, so thou hast fought, and won and lived to hear thy children singing to thee now. O thou our guardian and our guide, renew our courage every hour, and keep thy spirit by our side, to aid us with its watchful power. Throughout our lives, dear William and Mary, we pledge our loyalty. Dear college, now and evermore, thy children cry all hail to thee. Beneath thy trees, within thy halls, dear college, we give praise to thee, to pledge ourselves whate'er befalls, to pledge unfailing loyalty. Our hearts are with thee, dear William and Mary, however far we stray. Our noble college, hear us now, thy children sing to thee today. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose proud stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good afternoon. First, my thanks to Professor Armstrong and the William and Mary Choir for their splendid musical accompaniment. Let's give it up for them. Please be seated. As the Provost of the college, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to today's opening convocation. With this convocation, we celebrate the start of the new academic year, and we celebrate especially the women and men who are beginning their William and Mary careers. You are now part of a glorious tradition, a tradition of learning that reaches back to Plato, who founded the original academy in ancient Athens, extends through the great European universities of the Middle Ages, and moves forward to this country, where, in 1693, the College of William and Mary was chartered. William and Mary is a liberal arts university. This means, first and foremost, that we prize both teaching and scholarship, and especially the blending of the two. This means we offer an education that is broad and deep, that is based on inquiry, curiosity, and discovery, that is characterized by rigor, respect for argument and difference, and nourished by a deep love of learning. It is a powerful education that comes from the spark of intense interaction with ideas and with one another, in a shared conviction that knowledge is not bounded and that possibilities are without limit. This is what we value at William & Mary. This is what we offer you as a member of this venerable tribe. In short, if you wanted the best education on the planet, you've come to the right place. Now, William & Mary occupies a unique and treasured space in American education and in its history. We are all justly proud of our tradition and our history, but we also look to the future and to you who will strengthen and enrich this tradition as students here and as you take your place in the world. Enjoy your time here. It will be filled with exploration, discovery, and learning, both in and outside of the classroom, with your professors and with your classmates. What you learn here, the friends you make here, the person you become here will last a lifetime. As we wrote in accepting you into the college, one tribe, and now it's yours. Welcome to the William & Mary family. It is now my great pleasure to turn the podium over to the college's 27th president, Taylor Reevely.
Thank you, Mr. Provost. Lest there be confusion in any heart or mind, I do declare that William & Mary's 2016-2017 academic year has now begun. Fall term 2016 is officially unleashed. We have begun the 324th year in the long life of our venerable university. Well, welcome new students. On move-in day, I had a chance to tell freshmen and undergraduate transfers just how much we value each of you and how pleased we are to have you in our midst. Now, professional and graduate students, let me say that you too have been very carefully chosen by William & Mary, and you too are very dear to us. Collectively and individually, you are all cherished members of the William & Mary community, both during your time and thereafter. That's until you shuffle off your mortal coils. Once part of William & Mary, always part of William & Mary. William & Mary will be an important and a very proud part of your identity from now on. Emily Thomas, the senior class president, has an important message to deliver. Emily?
Welcome international students, graduate students, transfers, and freshmen. Hello, I am Emily Thomas, president of this year's senior class. Each year, the sophomore, junior, and senior classes help welcome first-year students by presenting them with a class banner. For those of you who are transfers or graduate students, your banners for the classes of 2017, 2018, and 2019 are already hanging in the center court dining area at the Sadler Center. Together with Lainey Boyd, president of the junior class, and Jonah Yesowitz, president of the sophomore class, who are above me on the balcony, I am proud to present the class of 2020 with its banner. We hope it will be a symbol of unity for your class during the years you are here together and in the years to follow you, just like all the classes before you, and as you all become alumni of the College of William & Mary. The banner will remain here for a week, after which it will be moved to the center court dining area at the Sadler Center, where it will hang until commencement 2020. Since there is not yet an elected representative of the class of 2020, President Reevely, we ask that you accept this banner on their behalf.
Thank you, Emily. I am thrilled to accept this banner on behalf of the class of 2020. It's always good to see it successfully unfurled. Among our many convocation traditions is the card that I hope each of you received when you entered the Wren Yard this afternoon. The card talks about some, not all, but some of the important ways in which William and Mary has led the way for American higher education since 1693. And the card comes from a group called the Cypher Society, CYPHER, which is made up of former members of William and Mary's Board of Visitors. Now, the Board of Visitors is the ultimate governing body of the university. Calling it a Board of Visitors is simply Virginia speak for what the rest of the world calls a Board of Trustees. Well, speaking of our Board of Visitors, we have several members with us today. If you all will please stand up, we will applaud you. Do not be bashful. Now on to our convocation speaker, Nico Mele, a member of William and Mary's undergraduate class of 1999. Now Nico really defies easy categorization. No one title comes anywhere close to capturing the vast sweep of his accomplishments, but here's a sampling of the titles he's had: author, consultant, director, entrepreneur, executive director, angel investor, senior vice president, chair, and that just gets us started on the possibilities. I'm not sure what Nico uses on his business card, but Renaissance man, superhero would be reasonable. And of course, when you're that accomplished, maybe you don't need business cards. You have your own website, nico.org. Nito does. While in college, he won a cross-disciplinary scholarship to study glass blowing. He was active in the Catholic Campus Ministry and the Campus Student Association, and he was a power working for tech support for William and Mary. After graduating with a degree in government, he was a pioneer in the use of social media for fundraising, including as webmaster for Howard Dean's 2004 presidential bid. He was absolutely at the cutting edge of the use of social media. He later founded Echo & Company, a digital consulting firm with Fortune 1000 clients. Nico has been senior vice president and deputy publisher of the Los Angeles Times and the founding executive director of the Common Sense News Service. He's held the Wallace Annenberger Chair in journalism at the University of Southern California, where he remains a senior fellow. And he's now a faculty member at Harvard University's Kennedy School, where he directs the Shorenstein Center on Media Politics and Public Policy. He's also an active investor in tech startups. He writes books. His first book, The End of Big, How the Internet Makes David the New Goliath, was published in 2013. He's acted with a number of nonprofit boards, and he co-founded the Massachusetts Poetry Festival. Esquire once named Nico one of America's best and brightest, and he only got out of here in 1999. I think it's fair to say if you want to know something about American politics, American business, American culture, or about the digital age in which we live, consult Nico. Nico, it is wonderful to have you back at your alma mater. We are yours.
Thank you. It was my first week at William and Mary, the day after Convocation, and I was broke. And I did not want to call my father and ask for money. So I needed a job. I looked at waiting tables or shelving books in Swem Library. And then I saw a job posting to fix computers for technical services. And I discovered I loved fixing computers for two main reasons. The first reason I loved it was that they were all puzzles. There was some problem you had to figure out and fix. And the second reason I loved it is it paid 3 times more than waiting tables. But there was one thing I didn't like about it at all. Mostly you fix computers in small windowless rooms, frequently in basements. And so it was that the summer after my freshman year, I was fixing computers in a small windowless room in a basement in Washington, D.C. And desperate for some fresh air, I would walk around the block and walk around the district at lunchtime. And one day I walked past the Corcoran Museum of Art, and I decided to go inside. I walked in, and there were these astonishing things hanging from the ceiling. I was completely blown away. They were brilliantly colored and incredibly shaped, and they seemed almost alive, but they were made of glass. In a small grotto off to the side, there was a video about the exhibit, and it talked about how these were called chandeliers, although they resembled no chandelier I had ever seen in my entire life. And they were done by a sculptor named Dale Chihuly, who was overwhelming and changing the glass blowing. He was doing all kinds of incredible things. He himself is a larger-than-life figure with a shock of hair and a black eye patch like a pirate. So I went back to William & Mary as a sophomore, determined to devote my life to becoming a professional glass blower, and my father was having a heart attack. I soon discovered, to my astonishment, there is no glass blowing major at William & Mary. There is not even a glass blowing 101 class. But I heard through the grapevine about this incredible place, the Charles Center, and it kind of seemed like they might give you money to do anything you wanted to do. So I applied, and I received a cross-disciplinary grant. And this summer after my sophomore year, I drove up to Corning, New York, and attended classes at the Corning School of Glass. I learned how to blow glass, and I loved it. Blowing glass is about fire, water, sand, and air. That's it. You could say it's about the primary and elemental necessities of life. I am not a glass blower today. In fact, I'm not sure I've blown glass since then. So why am I telling you this story? William & Mary gave me the encouragement to follow my curiosity. William & Mary fed my curiosity, and that is one of the best things that has ever happened to me in my entire life. Curiosity is an essential skill in navigating the world we live in. This is a world full of complexity. Everything is complicated. And your curiosity will help you figure things out in small and big ways. That complexity is not an accident. It's really come about in a large part because of some nerds on a quest. What do I mean, nerds on a quest? On college campuses just like this in the 60s, a group of nerds really helped invent the technology that shapes our lives today. The first degree in computer science offered at an American university was at Purdue University in 1962. At the time, computer science was considered almost secretarial. The real sciences were physics and math. But a group of kids who were curious about computers were in there fiddling around. Now, at the time, a computer was an unimaginably large thing. A Cray supercomputer of the late 60s, early 70s cost about $5 million base price, and it would have filled my dorm room in Yates First South. Yeah, I knew it. They were giant machines, giant, of unimaginable scale. And the only people who could afford these giant, powerful computers were big universities, big governments and big corporations. So imagine for a moment that you are a nerd on college campuses in the 60s, and you're graduating with a degree in computer science, and your parents think that that's probably dumb and no one gets hired to do that kind of work. And the only place you can get a job is the Pentagon or IBM doing Pentagon contracts. And as you've been on campus in those small windowless rooms, the anti-war movement and the civil rights movement have been happening all around you. You don't want to go work for the Pentagon. And so there was a movement among the nerds of the day to do something radical, the most radical thing they could think of, which was to create the personal computer. Imagine if I told you that 40 years from now, when your grandchildren are going to Convocation, that you'll be able to walk into a strip mall anywhere in the world, and for $200 and a low monthly fee, you'll be able to buy a Boeing 747. You'd think I was a lunatic. But that's effectively what's happened to computing. Today, we walk around with these devices on our person. We hold them close to our hearts, and they are devices of tremendous power. A smartphone today is so much more powerful than a crazy supercomputer of the 70s, you almost can't compare them apples to apples. It's millions, if not a billion times more powerful than one of those supercomputers. And back in the day, these computers were matters of national security. And so we've seen computing power go from available only to the world's largest, most powerful institutions to everybody in this audience having one on their person today. That's a tremendous transfer of power out of big institutions to individuals, and it's disrupted all kinds of things. We see the disruption from Uber to ISIS. And it's in navigating that disruption that curiosity will serve you well. But this is not just about curiosity. I want to take you back for a few moments to the closing days of World War II. Robert Desnos was an incredible French surrealist poet. He was a friend and contemporary of Picasso, Hemingway, John Dos Passos. And when the Nazis occupied France, he joined the French resistance. In the closing months of the war, he was captured by the by the Gestapo and sent to a concentration camp. And at the very end of the war, in this concentration camp, one morning, some German soldiers show up, and they load all of the men in the barracks into the back of a truck. And the men know that when you get in a truck like this, you do not come back. And there is silence in the truck as it goes down the bumpy road. And suddenly, Robert Desnos, Mr. President, can you stand for a minute?
Am I going to be okay?
You're going to be okay. Robert Desnos takes his hand of the man next to him, and he looks at his palm, and he says, "You are going to live a long and incredible life. You are going to be..."
I like that.
Yes. You are going to end up the president of one of the great universities of the world. And then, thank you. And then he takes the hand of the man next to him, and he says, "You will see and swim in the Pacific Ocean, and you will eat mangoes and coconuts and feast the rest of your life." And he goes to each man in the truck and reads their palm and imagines an incredible future for them. And the mood in the truck goes from silent and grim, men going to their deaths, to men imagining their future, to believing that the world was going to be a better place. In fact, they got so loud and rambunctious that the soldiers driving the truck pulled over and got freaked out and decided they didn't know what was going on. They couldn't kill these men today. And a few days later, the camp was liberated. We're living in a moment of great brokenness. Our politics is broken. Our political process dates back to the days of colonial Williamsburg. We vote on Tuesday because Sunday is church day and Monday is market day, and you ride your horse and buggy into town to vote on Tuesday. As I speak to you, Louisiana is underwater. We have just lived through the hottest month in recorded human history, and unfortunately for you, almost every year you have been alive has successively been the hottest year in human recorded history. The manufacturing economy that built the middle class in America has evaporated. Terrorism is a real and present threat. And in the midst of all of this, you must have the courage to hope. You must have the courage to imagine a better and brighter day. And you must take the curiosity that this institution will feed and use it to discover the innovative, incredible solutions that will heal this brokenness. And so today, when you walk through the doors behind me, you are going to join a community that goes back to the founding fathers of this nation. And I hope and pray that you do so with great boldness. Thank you.
Wow, Nico, that was absolutely compelling. So are you guys ready to do it? Embedded deep in William and Mary's DNA is one of our most important traditions, and that's a commitment to service, a commitment to making a difference for the better in the world. And those of us at William and Mary are the stewards of a magnificent, an absolutely magnificent inheritance from people who have gone before us at the college. The privilege of participating in this inheritance carries with it the responsibility for each of us to do some good, to make a difference for the better in our lives. And people at William and Mary do just that. They do it on campus, they do it in the Williamsburg area, in the state of Virginia, in the United States of America, in the larger world. The Convocation is a time each year when we present two President's Awards for service to our local community. One goes to a member of the faculty or staff, and the other to a member of the student body. These people also receive $500 each to donate to service agencies especially dear to them. Our staff recipient this year is Debbie Raymer, an instructor in our School of Education. Debbie advises a William and Mary undergraduate who's researching literacy practices in Haiti. She is a W.M. Shure advisor, a volunteer for One Child Center for Autism, and an advisory board member of the Peninsula School for Autism. She served on the board of Big Brothers Big Sisters and on the School Improvement Committee at D.J. Montague Elementary School. In Professor Raymer's words, I feel it's vital to my work as an educator to be actively involved with individuals, families, and schools in the community so that I can best prepare future teachers in my courses. Debbie, we thank you for your exceptional service. It's good that your award will go to One Child Center for Autism and to Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Greater Virginia Peninsula. Julie Cullifer, William and Mary Class of 2000, founder and executive director of One Child Center, and Ayanna King, CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters, are with us today. Will you all stand up and be acclaimed? This year's student recipient is Jaja Chen, class of 2018. Judge's service has focused on the Food Recovery Network. Last semester, 1,205 pounds of food were recovered from William & Mary's campus to help feed homeless people at the Pineapple Inn and Housing Center and Feed the Need. JoJo has also worked with the DC Central Kitchen, a William & Mary branch-out alternatives breaks program. She was a site leader for welcoming refugee families and is a sharp community scholar. In her words, these experiences connect me more deeply to my school, to different organizations, and the nearby neighborhood. It proves that as a student, I can make our community a better place. It's also my personal way for an international student to give back to the community where she's studying for 4 years. JoJo, you have served your community beautifully. It's wonderful that your award will go to the Food Pantry Project at Pineapple Inn and Housing Center. Amy Lee, Pineapple Inn's manager, is here with you. Will you all please stand and be acclaimed? Now, by the iron laws of tradition, the president gets the last word at William & Mary ceremonies. By the iron law of Reevely, I never talk long. 2 thoughts. The first focused on our new undergraduates. The second thought pertinent to all our new students. First thought, leaving home and going to college is a major adjustment. It's a big deal. It's a significant rite of passage. It'll take a while to adjust. By now, you probably know how to sate the basics. You know where to find food. You know where to sleep. You probably know where your clothes are, or at least where you think your parents put them last Friday on move-in day. You're also starting to nail the academic necessities, where your classes are located, where the library is, maybe where some of your professors' offices are. But a university has a rhythm, and it marches to a beat all its own. It's different from being at home. So it's okay to give yourself a little time to adjust. It's really okay to ask questions. No question is inappropriate or dumb. It's certainly okay to be a little befuddled for a while. And as I told you last Friday, it's perfectly normal to be a bit homesick if you're a bit homesick, or you can be really homesick. It'll go away. Not life-threatening. Second, William & Mary offers our students an absolutely extraordinary profusion of opportunities, both academic and extracurricular. Ways to learn, ways to lead, ways to grow in all sorts of ways at our university, even glass blowing. I'm not worried that you're going to fail, any of you, to participate robustly in our rich campus life. You are going to seize those opportunities. But I am concerned that you may participate too robustly in our campus life, or even too robustly in our academic life, that you'll overcommit yourself, that you may cut your sleep short, that you may find yourself running from one commitment to the next, like a headless chicken, studying at all hours of the night, feeling a bit put upon, harassed. So from me to you, from the 27th president of William & Mary to the class of 2020, or whatever class you happen to be in, here's permission to take a break every now and then. Walk around the campus, walk around Colonial Williamsburg, take a look at College Woods, play a game with friends, read a book just for fun. And speaking of fun, be sure you have some fun. all sorts of ways to have fun here. It's not just okay, it's positively good to take a break. And it's positively good not to overcommit yourself. So, amid the enormous opportunities to do things here, to learn things here, to grow as a person here, give yourself a chance to come up for air with some frequency. Now we're about to hear the dulcet tones of the Wren bell sounded over and over and over. This means opening convocation is about to celebrate the newest members of the William and Mary family. Now, some years from now, for undergraduates, 4 years from now, each of you will pull the rope that rings the Wren bell yourself, and you'll do it on the last day of your William and Mary classes, called somewhat friskily Blowout Day. Though we do urge moderation that day. Shortly thereafter, at graduation time, the bell will toll as you walk through the Wren Bell building, headed for commencement in William and Mary Hall, walking the campus one last time as an undergraduate, crossing the Cremdale Bridge. The Wren Bell is a really hard-working bell. It peals for weddings in the Wren Chapel, and we have lots and lots of alums who get married in the Wren Chapel. It peals for 50th class reunions, for the installation of new William and Mary presidents, for the annual sunset ceremony in the Wren Courtyard, when William and Mary people who have died during the previous year are remembered by name in a deeply moving rite. The Wren Bell works hard. When you emerge from the Wren in a few minutes, as the bell tolls, and you emerge into a really riotous welcome from pre-existing William and Mary people, keep in mind that you now have a place in the long line of William and Mary people reaching back to 1693. William and Mary is now yours personally, for all time coming. Very shortly, members of the Student Alumni Council will move among you with a gift symbolizing your new status as a member of the tribe. It's a lapel pin with your class numeral on it. Now, we got a lot of lapel pins with 2020 on them, but we got some lapel pins with other class numerals on them. You just have to persist until you get one if you got a different class numeral. We're about to sing the Alma Mater, led by William and Mary's superb choir. Now, grab your fan. I know you can sing the Alma Mater because you did it right out here Friday night, but you may have forgotten the words by now. If you've forgotten the words, that's perfectly okay. They're on the back of the fan. But you do need to learn them sooner or later. Now, guys, in particular, guys, it is perfectly okay to sing the Alma Mater. It does not constitute a loss of virility. So, it's really good when everybody sings it. If you have a beautiful singing voice, that's great. If you can barely carry a tune, that's perfectly okay. So we got the words here. The tune is easy. The choir will lead us. Once we've sung the Alma Mater, everybody except our new students should move briskly. It should really beat feet to the other side of the Wren so you can help welcome our new students. You students, you stay here with me. All right. Time for the Alma Mater. It begins, hark, the students' voices swelling. Its refrain is, hear the thunder of our chorus. So let's really belt it out, everybody. Choir.
Hark the beneath thy trees, within thy halls. Dear college, we give praise to thee, to pledge ourselves whate'er befalls, to pledge unfailing loyalty. Our hearts are with thee, dear William and Mary, however far we stray. Our noble college, hear us now, thy children sing to thee today. Dear college, old in years and fame, and richly old in honors too, time shall not dull the shining name, whose gleam of songs will e'er renew. And as years go by, dear William and Mary, thy fame will never cease. But each new year rejoice to see thy children's praise to thee increase.
Now, new students, the grand finale approaches. Lots of new students to walk through the hall. That means we need to really keep this line moving. So if you're seized by a desire to take a picture, suppress it till you get to the Wren Garden. And as you will see, you walk through the hall, President of the student body, Ebony, and I will lead you. You're going to come out and walk all the way down to the sunken garden where there is food, drink, and an opportunity for a party. But let me stress, particularly for those of you who end up near the end of the line, you want to get through it before the people on the other side have absolutely exhausted themselves cheering. So there is still a riotous welcome for you. That means we got to keep moving. And that means I have been instructed now for the last 5 years, and I think it's finally sunk in, I am not to do anything that interrupts the flow, like shake hands, take pictures, get in the path. All right, are we ready, Ebony? Ebony is leading the way. I will lead the way. And you pick up your class pin as you go through, but don't let that slow you down either. All right, we need some volunteers to come lead the line. Don't be bashful. All right, here we go.
See Blonde Lady on your right. Blonde Lady.
That wasn't really for you. That was just my moment.
got you. I did not say grab your hips like that. Did you think people don't get me wrong? So yeah, like my friend, I don't smoke, so when my friend got smoked, I got terrified. Gotta make movements. It's the original canon. Okay. To the right, to the right. Jack! Jack!
Thank you.